All right, here we are. We are going to begin our boss movement group. So, um, last lesson we have the boss firing. Let's go ahead and get him to move around now. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do, start off easy. We're going to add a boss group for boss movement. So remember, you right click or two finger middle click over there in the margin. You will do add a new group. Um, oh, I had it highlighted. That's why that didn't work. I was like, okay. Anyways, add a new group, and we're going to call this boss movement. And the description will be controls the boss movement. All right. And so the very first thing we are going to do is for the boss movement, every 1 second, we want the boss to either move left or right. So we're going to start off by adding a sub event to the boss movement group that runs every 1 second. So I'll start off here, right click, add a sub event to the system. And this will be, I believe we're going to do wait. Whoa. I would have thought we did wait. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, it says every. So every X seconds, which we want to do 1. So every 1 second, add an action to set the boss custom movement for the boss to set speed to a horizontal speed. So we're going to add an action to the boss, and this will be custom movement set speed. So remember, this is going to be the one with the little wrench. If you typed in set speed and you didn't have this custom menu, that's because you forgot to add the custom behavior to the boss. And we're going to move him every 1 second. He's going to move back and forth 200 pixels. Now we're going to add a sub event to the every 1 seconds. I wonder if I can kind of make this higher. Okay, so right here, we're going to add a sub event. Really bad allergies, what's new? This sub event should be for the system object with the condition compare two variables. So system, we're going to do compare two values. So I'll type that out just in case you are watching. Compare two values. For the first value, we're going to choose enter choose between 0 and 1. This is a function, choose, and it is going to pick a number in between 0 and 1. I have a feeling it's pulling an integer. Yeah, so it's going to take a random number, either 0 or 1. Select the comparison operator to be equal to. Got it. And then the second value to be 1. So this means there's an approximately 50% chance that the expression will either choose the number 1 and run the actions in the event. Oh, so if the number that we choose is 1, then we're going to do whatever we do next. So what we're going to do next is add an action to your choose one that sets the boss custom movement angle to 0, so the boss moves right. So if 1 is chosen out of this random number pair, then the boss is going to do, we're looking in the custom menu, angle of motion. So I'll type this out here. Set angle of motion. We're going to set it to 0. Remember, at construct 3, 0 degrees is to the right. True in math class, too. We start, like, your unit circle starts to the right. All right. Looks good. Add a sub event for the system object with the condition of else. Place it on the same level but directly below. So what we're going to do, yeah, just as I thought. Come back up here and you are going to add a new sub event because we want it to be on the same level, same indentation as your choose. And so you're going to go to the system and it's called else. And so if this condition is not true, meaning when you chose a random number in between 0 and 1, it turned out to be 0, then we are going to add an action that says, well, move the boss to the left. So add action, we're going to boss. This is set angle of movement or of motion. And 180, meaning left. Note, you can now play your game and have fully working boss battles. You can also add multiple boss enemies and increase the boss difficulty. To add multiple boss enemies at one time, you'll use the boss type variable, but instead of 3 boss type options, 0, 1, and 2, you will use 6. Cool, so we're adding more bosses. So you could be done. This could be, you're happy with your single boss, but we want to go ahead and make more bosses, because why not? We've got the time, and let's make this game as awesome as possible. So when the game is starting a new wave, I don't think there should be a period there. When the game is starting a new wave, the game will need to first check if this is a boss battle. If it's a boss battle, the game must determine which boss or bosses to place on the screen based on the boss type variable. So in your wave divide or modulus 2 equals 0 event, add a sub event that checks if the boss type is 0. So I'm going to close this up, and I believe we're in the wave system. Yep, here we go. So we're looking at this area right here, and we're going to add a sub event. So I'm just double checking to make sure. Okay, good. So right click, add sub event, and we're going to check if the boss type variable is 0. System. Yeah, system. And this is going to be compare variable because we're trying to see, is our boss type 0? Is our boss type 0? It says now you could right click on the boss type is 0 and add another condition to figure out if the boss type is 2 or 4. 0. Oh, add another condition. Okay, so not like a sub event. Right here, we're going to add another condition. So right click right here where it says boss type equals 0, and it will be add another condition. Okay, so right here, we're going to do same thing. We're going to compare variable. Here comes the cat. And she just walked across the screen. Alright, so boss type equals 2. Add one more condition that checks if the boss type is 4, and then we're going to make an OR block. So add another condition, system, compare variable, is the boss type 4. Then right click on those conditions and select an OR block. So I have a feeling that you're going to want to highlight both of them. We'll right click. This is what I'm dealing with. Hey, kitty. Look, she just loves being held. Okay, time to go. I'm doing or, so then right-click on those conditions and select Make or Block. I don't think this is it, but we'll try it. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so here you go. Highlight all 3 of these conditions, right-click, and now we've got this on our menu, Make or Block. Sweet. Make 2 additional sub-events. And we're going to check if the boss type is 1, 2, or 5. Second check sees if it's 3, 4, or 5. Alright, we're going to have to zoom in on this baby and see what's going on here. Whoa. Full screen. This is the worst full screen ever. So, all my sub-events should be on the same level. That's what I was checking. So, I'm going to do add a sub-event. This is going to be compare variable. These are actually all compare variables. One, 2, 5. Two, 5. Notice you've got to click like on boss type in order to get that add another condition. Highlight them all. We're going to make it an OR block. And then one more. Cats are gross. Compare variable. Boss type. This last one is, what is it? 3, 4, 5. And make it an OR block. Alright, so by making the conditions an OR block, the event will be triggered if any of these are true. If any of these are true, if any of these are true, then we'll run whatever action is coming off of it. So here we go. This looks like a lot, but I believe it's a drag and copy paste. So drag all of the actions from the wave modulus 2 equals 0 event into the first sub-event. So we're going to take all of them from here and put them all here. Now, I've never been good at this, so we'll try it. That was easier than it was. Okay. Change the action set type to boss type to set type to 0. So rather than set type to boss type, we're going to set this one to 0. Change the action set enemies to 1 to add 1 to enemies. So we're going to change this last one to, this will be add 1 to enemies. Change the action set animation frame to boss type to set animation frame to 0. Okay. Next, duplicate the actions for boss 2 in the second sub-event. Okay, so I'm literally going to take all of these. Let's do a copy. Paste. Paste. I'm really trying to copy paste here. Let's add. Nope. Because I really don't feel like putting these all out. No, that is. I don't want to do all this again. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to. It's frustrating, but that's okay. If you can copy paste, that's good. Create object. We're going to create the boss on layer 0. The second one, though, we are going to do 1,000, 50. Meaning he is super far to the right and a little bit higher. And we'll do stop animation. So this is on the boss. This is called stop animation. We're going to add the turret to the player. Actually, it's the boss. And then we choose the player. It's called add target. And we want to target the player. I'm going to go do these 3 things right here. So create object. This last one, it looks like we are going to create it at 1,000, no, 600, 120. So we're going to create a boss at 600, 120. Stop animation. It's the green. Boss, add target. We're going to add the player. I probably spend as much time trying to copy paste than actually doing this all. Set animation frame to 0. We're going to do 1 right here, and then the last one will be 2. So set frame to 1. For the second one, we're going to do set frame to 2. Set type, we're going to do, that's our global variable of type, 0, 1, 2. So this will be in the boss, and this will be set value. Oh, it's actually an instance variable of type. This will be 1, and then this one we will do set value, instance variable of 2. And then last but not least, all 3 of them are going to be add 1 to the enemy. So add 2. This will be enemy system, add 2 enemies. I'm going really fast because I'm actually getting kind of good at this. Alright, so what we just did was we made sure that all of our sub-events, our new sub-events, were all in the same indentation. If any of these attributes are true, then all of this is going to run. This is going to create a second boss on the screen. This is going to create a third boss on the screen. So, yeah, we'll talk about those numbers in a second. Let's just keep coding. System for each condition. If you play your game now, you'll notice that eventually the boss enemies start moving on the same when multiple boss objects are on the screen. This is occurring because the boss movement does not choose a different random value for each boss. It chooses for all boss objects. So in the boss movement group, we will add an extra condition. So right here, we're going to add another condition. Move my cat's tail. And it's going to be add an action to the system object, selecting the condition for each. Select the boss object, and click Done. Okay, so that's saying that we are going to select a different condition for every single boss. Just double checking, that looks good. Boss health global variable. To make your boss battles increasingly more difficult, you want to increase the boss health as you progress through the waves. Add a global variable called boss health and default it to 25. So add a global variable. This is called boss. Oh, I get to pick boss health and 25. Change the boss on destroyed event so that instead of checking if boss is greater than 2, you check if boss is greater than 5. That event is in the bullet collisions group. So rather than is greater than 2, we're going to check if it's greater than 5. Inside this sub-event, create an action to add 10 to the boss health. So right here, we're going to add an action. It's going to be add 2, and it will be add 10. That means as soon as your boss type is greater than 5, we're going to add 10 more to his health. So now what we're going to do is set health to the boss health. Every time you create a new boss object, you will need to create the boss object's instance variable for health to the value. So go into all of the boss type equal sub events, so everything we just made, and we're going to add another action that says set boss object's health to boss health. She really wants my attention. So we're going to go into all the ones that we just made. I think it was in, oh gosh, I don't even remember where it was. Wave system. No. It was the wave system. I must have had. Here it is. It was closed, so I didn't see it. Okay, so we're going to put it right above the last one. So we're going to add an action to set the boss object's health to the instance variable. So we're going to click on the boss, and it's going to be set value, because we're going to set the value of our instance variable of health to the global variable of boss health. Take it, move it up one, because you want it to be above your add one to enemies. And we're going to do the same thing here and here. So we're going to add an action to the boss, and this is going to be set value. We're setting the instance variable of health to boss health. Remember, we're starting off with boss health at 25. Take it, move it right above the system. Boss, this is going to be set value. And move it up one. All right, almost there. Yep, place objects above the add one. Ding. All right, boss fire rate global variable. To complete this section, go ahead and use what you've learned to complete the following tasks. Create a brand new global variable called boss fire rate. I could do that. So I'm going to come right here. This is going to be boss fire rate. Default it not to 0 but to 1. We're going to increase the boss fire rate variable by 1 right after you increase the boss health. So, oh, I know where that was. That was where we just were. So bullet collisions right here. So after we increase the boss health, we're going to also add an action, and we are going to increase the boss fire rate variable by 1. So system, this will be add to boss fire rate 1. And that's going to be after we increase the health. Change the enemy fire rate variables in the boss shooting section to boss fire rate. Oh, here we go. Okay, so enemy fire rate variables. Oh, it must be this one. So rather than enemy fire rate, we're going to do boss fire rate. Not NOS, boss. Change the turret rate of fire for each boss to make the boss enemies shoot more rapidly. Oh, look at that. They're saying just change these ones to be higher numbers. So 400. Yeah, that's true, because if you thought about the boss, like, he was shooting really, really slow. So maybe this one will do 600. Cool. Alright, one last section. Test and save our game. Alright, I'm gonna test my game before I save it. And remember, you gotta get past all these enemies at first. I think something I might do is, like, increase my, player's bullet size, so then, like, when I'm testing my game, it is quicker. 1, 2, 3. Here's the boss. Whoa! Oh man. Remember, like, yesterday when you tested this game and it was kind of, easy? Dang. Oh, this is so funny. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to go to my layout. Let's find where my player bullet is. Is that this one? Boss bullet? Player bullet. I'm gonna come back in the end and resize it, but right now I'm going to make this thing huge so like it's easier for me to win games. Or like to test my game is what I mean. Because otherwise I'm gonna spend like all day playing my game and I'll never know. It's just not a good use of time. But this is really exciting. It's actually a challenge. Like, friends and family might not get past this first boss. I mean, they could if the bullets are this big. Alright. I'm logging out.